Hello again. We are on day 6, Saturday of week 3. It's been 8 days since I haven't recorded a vlog, and I've been in a lot of things, and a lot of things has happened here as I've been fasting for 51 hours. So what happened is that last week, as I've probably mentioned it, I was always putting and giving power to some things that doesn't matter for my short form content, as I was always thinking about the form and not truly on the content, and the content should come from the heart. And so for this, I've just been through an idea to fast for a certain amount of time, as I've been fasting for 51 hours from Friday 2 p.m. until Sunday 5 p.m. of week 2. So it has been 51 hours, I'm guessing, yes. And it has been a great experience, rather than it was not a very good reason for me to go for it, because as I was feeling totally empty with inspirational stuff, I just had the idea that fasting will get me closer to God, and this wasn't truly a good and fair reason in my head, because the idea were coming from my head, not from my heart. Because I've been through a lot of struggle to not break the fast before I broke it. Always resistance control, or I'm extremely hungry, so I should break it. My body is telling me to eat. I should break it now, because it's not the right time for doing it. It's not the right situations. You are alone on fasting, and you're not fasting with Humphrey and Theo. So, all thoughts are just coming inside your head, just to put you away from what you deeply feel inside of you, of your heart, and focus. And these are just blockers for focusing on what you feel. And deeply inside of me, I was just feeling that it wasn't necessary to fast. And I've realized that after 51 hours, that I was just fasting for the bad reasons. But rather than saying me and thinking that I was fasting to get closer to God, I was in reality fasting for all the benefits it will bring to my body. So I've been losing 3 kilos. I've been losing fat. Uh, I've been purging my body from all the unnecessary and all the bad cells uh, that were present in my body that now are not. So there's been some benefits, yes, but rather it was the first time that I've been fasting for this amount of time, as I was experiencing extreme hunger that I didn't feel at any time in my whole life. And so the last fasting I've been experienced was a bit, let me know, 36 hours, if I remember. Yes, something like that. Between 50, between 25 and 36 hours, I do not remember. So it was the first time as I've crossed this limit, and the first time I've crossed the limit of 48 hours of fasting. Since I think, into my opinion, it's I think it's a good cap, as the state your body enter after crossing this limit is deeply the state where you begin to feel true and having very good benefits for your body. So for the experience, I think fasting is just pushing you to reconnect with what you feel inside your heart and your body, how you really feel, as you don't have energy to think and take decisions in that stuff. It's always putting you to reconnect and forcing you to reconnect with what you feel instead of focusing on what you think. So for the experience, it's a bit like the sensations of getting stomachache or headache with extreme fatigue, but without any ache. You're just no energy or very few energy to spend on your journey with. You are always tired, and I think it's just these conditions that are forcing you to listening your body and not focusing on your thoughts. So for the experience, I think that fasting is putting you in a state which force you diving very deep inside of yourself and start experiencing all the pieces of your feelings, which can drown you by their numbers, but rather focusing on your feelings. So this was the first thing. And after that, on Monday this week, I've been discussing with Humphrey and Theo about what I deeply felt while fasting, seeking inspiration from God, which I didn't had at all, because the reason I was fasting was a reason that come from my head and not a reason that come from my heart. So I was lying on myself, and you know that nothing can truly come out from a lie from your heart instead of pain, I think. So, as I was discussing and talking about what I was experiencing without feeling in spirit at all with M3, I've just realized that it was a deeply fear I had inside of me, and I was just always seeking a way to run from it and setting me a frame, giving my power to people, giving my power to um, ebooks or stuff to just learn to make vertical short form content. And I was just not focusing from what's coming inside my heart, because from all of this, the fears and the doubts I was experiencing was just coming from my head and not from my heart. As I've got, and I realize that I've got all I need in my heart. If I just need to speak, I just need to express it. Rather, focusing on the content and letting the content go out and express from the heart. After, you will be thinking to set a form for it in the way that it feels beautiful to your mind and to your eyes, and not doing it but backwards, as you can put any form on anything if there is not content. It's not the same thing to do. So rather than looking to what is what is looking successful on internet, on Instagram, on YouTube Shorts, or on TikTok, or somewhat, rather than focusing to look good and looking to what is working on internet. You're not yourself, but rather you are attaching your ego to looking like him, make your product look like this one, making your frame and your content look like this one, and it just put you in a position where you are not yourself. You're not authentic, you're not spontaneous, you're not you're not you. You're just anyone else. So after all this discussion, I just realized that I had it all in my heart. and I just need to express it. And after putting all the edits, the fonts, the colors, I would choose for this content to be put on the internet. So after all of this, I've just realized a second thing, that fears and doubts are just indicators for if you should do a thing or not. If you are not experiencing fears or doubts, I think one, the challenge is not being big enough, because if it doesn't scare you, as it says, you shouldn't do it, because they're not stake for you to grow. And the second thing is that I realize that when you are just seeking to reconnect with your heart and God, you should do the exact opposite of what your head is talking you to do. So, if your head is telling you to going for a walk, if your head is just telling you, I must do that, or I should doing this, it's not. So, rather than focusing on these thoughts, start listening the deeper voice which tells you, I would like to do this, or I feel comfortable with starting that, even if it's not in your routine or it's not your discipline. It's just listening to your heart. So repeat until the do and the start are fading into create. No, it's stand on thinking, you are feeling. It's always feeling about a way to start it. So there is already all inside of you. It's just taking your time to see it. It's like, at what point will you trust in God for the path He has chosen for you? So realizing this, and right now as I'm doing it too, I think I'll begin to capture my short form content today, as I'm experiencing the same feelings that have pushed me back from the project I'm working on, starting my business. Just feeling that I'm always finding a way to run from it, to flee, always running, finding a way something else to do, and just pushing creation for later. The things that matter, always the essential, are just the what are the fears and the doubts, are just telling you to step up yourself from apart that, and not doing it because all the fears and the doubts. So it's exactly because you are experiencing fears and doubts, that's a sufficient reason to do it. So I think I'm being in the right state of mind right now, as I've been enduring a bit stressed this week, for always seeking inspiration for all of this, realizing that I just need to express myself, and that's it. That's all. So sorry for being so long, but that being said, I trust that if you are here right now, this sparked your interest. Thank you for being here, and I see you soon.